Many Leicester fans are saying we were by far the better team against Coventry. Welcome back to Where Foxes Walk. We've got Tim with us to review Leicester nil, Coventry nil. Hope you are well, Foxes fans. This week we're talking about, yes, were we the better team and just with a little bit better finishing, we'd have won that comfortably. Julian has to start, many fans are crying out for, and just what's going on with Mavididi. Plus, we're asking you in the comments, please, which Leicester player deserves a lot more praise than what they're getting from fan bases? Which one player from the 11 needs a shout out this week? Get typing that as we discuss that game. Tim, how are you? Fresh back from watching that. Leicester were the better team. Let's jump straight into that debate. Yes.
Yeah, no, first of all, yeah, really well, thank you. And yeah, I mean, interesting game, the M69 derby. But yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, to be honest with you, the stats don't lie. You kind of look at kind of the key ones: 59% possession. I think something like 550 odd passes, 89% accuracy. The stats don't lie. I think we were the better team, and yeah, I totally agree. I think given an added sort of level of sort of being a little bit more clinical, I think we'd come away with the 3 points for certain.
Yeah, let's have a look at some tweets from the game. If you just joined, do drop us a quick subscribe. That'd be amazing. We've got 24 other channels with all the Championship teams on. This is our brand new Leicester one, so great to have you on board with us. Here's how it works. We put some tweets from Leicester fans and ask Tim and Freddie their views on each of these. Jack says, we were the better team. Their keeper had his best game. Mavididi fluffed. Sorry, I've added. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're the better team. Yeah, keeper had his best game. Mavididi fluffed a one-on-one. Should have taken a touch. The middle three of JJ Winks and Sumer is the best middle I've seen. Taking Ricky off, I actually thought killed a momentum going forward a bit. Do you agree, Tim?
Yeah, definitely. I think kind of looking at again at Cifuente's comments after the game, and he commented on how fantastic Rush was in goal for them. Obviously made some key saves, including that one from Mavididi. But yeah, I think ultimately the changes were great, just what we needed. I think the midfield three worked really well to a degree, possibly still lacking a little bit of creativity in there, kind of pushing into the final third. But overall, yeah, it's great to see the changes that I think everybody was kind of calling for prior to the game. I think so. Yeah, really happy with that.
Right. Welcome, Freddie, to the debate.
Yeah,
Yeah, were you the better team against Coventry?
I think definitely. I think they defended well. Um, they made it hard for us to really break them down. Hence, we didn't have any clear cut chances. So I think they defended well. But I also think on the day we were much better when we should have perhaps scored two or three. Sort
Yeah.
of where we just Fatalou's shooting wasn't great, and little things like that meant we didn't score when we should have.
Okay. Let us know what you think. Nikolai says Daka gets in, immediately flubs a chance in the box. Yeah. Also, please stop letting Thomas take corners. Those last two were absolutely awful. We're nitpicking here, aren't we? Leicester fans have got to have some things. But yeah, is he right on the corners?
Yeah, I think I mean it was interesting because I think throughout the game we had a few different takers. I mean, interestingly, Jordan James was started off kind of taking a few, and then like you said, Luke Thomas. Clearly, we had a bit of a tactic. He was aiming for that front post quite a lot. I think Coventry were onto that, and yeah, there was a few there which just actually hitting the first man, headed straight away, and it's just just get it in there, and we've got. Vestergaard, you've got Faz who's got a record of scoring as well. So I think sometimes you've just got to try not to be too clever. I think, and get the ball in there. Don't know if that's
But
any better.
yeah. I'm sex editing now. Right, cheers for that, Tim. Right, let's talk about debuts then, shall we, Freddie? Yeah, we had Leicester saying it was a promising debut for Julian. It's a bit underwhelming, the word that promising. Jack says he'll get goals. His movement was really good, and that first run in behind he made. Did that remind you of anyone? Yeah, what do you reckon, Freddie, to the debut?
Yeah, I think it's always difficult. first game he's played for us, coming off the bench against a really good defensive side. I agree. I think his movement off the ball was really good, dropping into the spaces to try and receive it, but also trying to spin off the defender in behind, but also just moving across the line. I think his movement was good. I think the one thing I would say is he just needs to demand it a bit more, but I think obviously the more he plays and the more comfortable he gets, the easier that will become. So overall, I think he was really good.
Super. Tim, that's followed up by Matt Fox. It says Julian has to start the next game against West Brom. How many chances were wasted because there was no one up front, or just people couldn't finish? Yeah, would you start him against West Brom?
I mean, there's as good a time as any. I think. I mean, he has kind of got some interesting kind of quirks about him. Definitely, he likes to drop a little bit deeper. So it'd be interesting to see what would happen if we played Ayew in sort of the 10 role and then started Carranza. I mean, I totally agree with Freddie. I thought he looked like a really lively player, sort of dropping in, wanted the ball. Perhaps could have done that a little bit more, like Freddie said. So yeah, look, why not? He looked really great. Had the opportunity to score a goal as well. So he's obviously knows where to be, and his time is great in the box. So yeah, why not?
Okay, let's carry on then. And we are trying to keep positive on this one, given it was a positive result. But as the Leicester fan base know only too well, there's always someone we can have a go at. This week it's Mavididi. Freddie, your own tweet from Saturday says, get Mavididi out. You went on your own though. The LCFC says we've got to start Monga next game. Mavididi is terrible. Ben goes on to say, guy's got zero confidence in himself. He's forgotten how to take defenders on. Monga is miles better. Yeah, what's going on with him then, Freddie?
I think ever since Enzo left, he's slowly dropped off. So I'm not sure whether it's something to do with how close he was with Enzo. Because obviously, if you are that close with someone and they leave, it is a bit of a blow. So I think there's definitely confidence issues, whether it's come from things like Enzo or something else off the pitch that we're not aware of. I think he is a good footballer. We've seen bits of that. Brighton last season, he played very well. Brighton away, glimpses sort of at times this season he's been okay, but overwhelmingly just the lack of work ethic, the lack of drive. He doesn't really seem that bothered about anything at the moment.
An attitude problem, Tim?
Possibly. I mean, he's always kind of had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, I think, for some reason or another. I mean, like Freddie said, clearly, he's got it in there. He has got the talent. But, again, kind of in the last championship campaign at this point, he'd scored 4 goals, and this time out, he's made no goals. He scored no goals, made no assists. So, we've got a young, hungry player in Monga that, he's ready to go. You could see that when he got on the pitch on Saturday, taking on players, no issues with his confidence. So, yeah, 100%, I'd be looking to start Monga in the next game against West Brom.
Okay. Oh, yeah, one more from Martin here. It says, Mavididi's got lead in his boots. Should have stuck a tap past the keeper. Old Steffi would have knocked that in. Chances wasted, I'm afraid. To you both, where are we with Leicester now at the moment? Because I think that the points deduction just seems to be just hanging overhead. No one's really talking about Leicester as going to win the league. You've got Southampton and Ipswich, which are really struggling. Sheffield United are imploding. Middlesbrough running away with it. I mean, it seems like we're just going through the motions with Leicester at the moment until we know exactly when and how many points coming. Then no one's really kind of putting you up there, Freddie. Is that fair?
I think, yeah, and I think obviously with what's going on at the club at the minute, and quite frankly, the incompetence that we've had from the board over the past few seasons, especially, I think it's understandable why people aren't backing us to do well. I actually don't think that's a bad thing because the pressure on us is a lot less now that people don't expect us to be walking the league than it would be if people were saying, oh, well, they should be winning the league by 10 points. So I think it's quite good on the players. It means there's a lot less pressure on them to perform amazingly every week and walk away with the league.
Okay. Tim, on last week's video, if you haven't watched it, you can go back and watch it. You were calling out for Harry Winks to start. He did. You got your wish. How did he do?
I thought he played really well. Had a great game. He was on the ball all the time, all over the pitch. He really showed his class, which I think is something that we spoke about last week, and the fact that actually, kind of last time in the Championship, you could clearly see that he was class above many others in his position in different teams in the league, and I think he sort of showed that again on Saturday. But again, I mean, I'd kind of echo what Freddie said in terms of the team. We're not playing consistently well at the moment, so there's a lot of room for improvement. And actually, to be where we are, given all the turmoil that's been going on off the pitch, obviously, like you said, Mark, we've got this potential points deduction looming over our heads. I think actually to be sitting fourth in the league, kind of showing Ipswich and Southampton how it can be done, and also with a lot more to give. It's not all doom and gloom in my opinion. I think there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's the West Brom that we head to next then. Freddie, where do West Brom sit in terms of rivalries? Not really. I mean, it's just a close game, isn't it? You don't really have anything bad to say about them.
No, I don't. I think they're a good club. I think they've got proper fans. I've always thought that they should be better than where they are now. Obviously, when they were playing in the lockdown Premier League, they were a good side. Obviously, Chelsea and things like that. Just things haven't really gone well for them. Haven't really gone their way. I hold nothing against them. I like them as a club. They got a good set of fans, and they've always turned up well when they're playing away.
If you were to construct, Tim, the 20 teams that should be in the Premier League, you'd put Leicester there, I'm sure, of course, because you've won it. Would West Brom be there as the top 20 teams that should be Premier League?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously they've had this history, haven't they, of kind of the boing baggies kind of up and down between the leagues. So for me, no, I don't think there'd be a team that I'd be putting in there as a 20 Premier League teams.
Okay, Forest would be though. Yeah?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Just checking. Right, finally this week then, which one player for you has not got enough flowers so far this season? So ignoring the ones that get the usual headlines, ignoring the ones we've even spoken about here, Freddie, what one player do you think needs a bit more credit than fans are giving?
I think Vestergaard. He's one that people seem to skip over. I think so far this season, don't really think he's put a foot wrong. I think he's been solid. His ratings show that he's up there this season, top rated Championship player so far. Always steady, good with the ball at his feet, but sometimes people skip over that because it's Yannick Vestergaard. He's not the most exciting player in the world, but to be fair to him, credit where credit is due, he is a very solid Championship defender.
Good shout, Tim.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Freddie took the word out to the name out of my mouth. I was going to say the same thing actually. I think he showed on Saturday, what a defensive rock he was. I mean, Coventry were literally throwing everything at us with the long throws, and he was sort of dealing with that, and sort of adds that element of leadership as well that I think actually we need. But I'll go. For the sake of this, I'll go with someone slightly different. And he's took in the off season took a little bit of a rap and a bit of bad press, but I'll go with Wout Faes. I think he came into the team Saturday, played really really well. He's actually scored some key goals for us this season as well, which you wouldn't expect. So I'll go with Wout as a different curveball.
Okay, great show. Right, let us know in the comments, then we'll read some of these out on next week's episode. Of course, next week we're reviewing the West Brom game, and also we've got the return of midweek championship fixtures next week as well. We've got a double header to look forward to in the next 7 days. The games still come thick and fast. Thank you very much for joining us. Drop us a quick subscribe. If you can fit 20 minutes of Leicester City chat into your lives, that'd be absolutely amazing. And we'll wish you well against West Brom. We'll be watching, of course, live on Friday night with my beer in one hand and my curry in the other. Thanks so much. Make it a good one, please. See you in 7 days.